Hello friends, my name is Masood. Today we shall discuss about the topic the product backlog refinement. Friend, today's topic is very interesting, especially if you have interest in Scrum and Agile and you want to know about it. So this is a very interesting and important topic for you. So let's start, friend. First of all, I will request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well, so that my new videos can reach to you, and also you can follow me on the Facebook page as well. Friend, you have successfully designed the big pictures of your product and created a backlog with everything it needs to do. The items are short, to the point, you understand them, but you wonder, will other people too as well? So backlog refinement is a good way to fill any gaps actually. So what is actually a backlog refinement? In a Scrum, backlog refinement is an ongoing process in which the product owner and the development team collaborates to ensure that items on the product backlog are understood the same way by all involved. Shared understanding, have a size estimate for the relative complexity and effort of their implementation, and are ordered according to their priority in terms of business value and efforts required. In short, backlog refinement is about creating shared understanding on what the product will and wouldn't do, on the effort it will take to implement it, and the order in which you will do that. Now, why is backlog refinement important? First of all, without shared understanding, you risk implementing the wrong thing, wasting effort and having to rework the implementation to get it right. Without sizing each item, you are not taking the cost of items into account and risk overrating high value, high cost items and underrating low value, low cost item. Without ordering your product backlog in descending order of prioritization, you risk working on items that are not all that important and missing important ones. A few other reasons why backlog refinement is important: it improves the efficiency of the sprint planning meeting because most questions are already answered. It keeps the product backlog focused, clean and relevant, so you wouldn't feel like you are drawing into an ever going to do list. It leverages the benefits of collaboration in detailing user stories and defects. It creates a shared understanding within the Scrum team and the stakeholders around it. Now, what is the difference with backlog grooming? There is no difference actually. Backlog refinement used to be called backlog grooming as well. It changed because grooming became a dirty word actually. It is also called story time, pre-planning and backlog management. What is the best time for backlog refinement? There is no actually best time. Backlog refinement is an ongoing activity, not just for the product manager but for the entire team. The product owner can refine items on the backlog at any time, in or outside a meeting. The Scrum Master and development team members can also update items at any time, usually under the direction of the product owner. What happens in backlog refinement? Activities in the backlog refinement. Backlog refinement is about creating shared understanding on what the product will and wouldn't do, and on what it will take to create it. Product discovery, both initially, for example through story mapping, and on ongoing basis. Identifying and removing items that sounded good but are no longer relevant. Improving clarity and preventing misunderstanding by adding details in preparation of implementation, for example adding examples, constraints, edge cases and acceptance criteria. Splitting large items into smaller ones. Smaller items are more focused and manageable and are easier to size. Sizing items, including resizing them when they are sat in the product backlog longer than intended, as a sanity check when they are up for implementation. Prioritizing items and reprioritizing them when you add more details or gain new insights. identifying risks and obstacles for items close to implementation. The outcome of these activities should be a product backlog that is deep, an acronym coined by Roman, detailed appropriately, more detail for items that you will implement soon. Of course, when detailing your user stories, you will want to keep the invest criteria in mind. Emergent, you can reflect the insights easily by adding, changing and removing items. Estimated, every time is roughly estimated or sized and resized for new information, and as an item gets closer to implementation, prioritized. Keep the backlog deep ensures that items with the highest priority, the ones at the top of the product backlog, have a refinement level that's ready for implementation. Items with a lower priority, the ones further down, can and should have less effort invested in them and have fewer details. That's part of how you maximize the work not done. Invest in a definition of ready. Similar to a definition of done, a definition of ready helps you to detail user stories to consistent level. It specifies when a user story need to include before you will accept it for implementation in a sprint. For example, the objective of the item, how it will help a customer or user do their jobs, the business value it will provide by the product owner, an estimate of the complexity and effort required. How long should backlog refinement take? The Scrum guide doesn't say anything about how much time backlog refinement should take. It only specifies that it usually does not take more than 10% of the capacity of the development team. The product owner is not part of the development team and can invest as much time as necessary and can enlist the help of other members of the Scrum team. Turning a story into a spike is a way to make this explicit and keep it from eating into that 10%. Backlog refinement meetings. When is the best time for backlog refinement meeting? There is no best time. Keep in mind that backlog refinement is an ongoing activity, not a meeting actually. Still, many times like to use a meeting to quickly size user stories, an initial sizing for new stories or a resizing for stories that have been refined since they were added. There is no best time for these sizing meetings either. Some teams like to do it early in a sprint when the insights from inspection, sprint review and retrospection are still fresh. Others prefer it at the end, so the refinement discussions are still fresh when they plan to the next iteration. And still others do it mid iteration and alternate the backlog refinement in sprint planning meetings. If you think you shouldn't do it near the end of a sprint, you are probably cutting refinement too close. You really should have at least 2 or 3 sprints worth of fully refined items. That also ensures you have ample time to answer any question. Now, who attends a backlog refinement meeting? The product owner always participates. Who else attends can vary with the items that are up for refinement. Potential participants are members of the development team, representatives from customer success or support, other stakeholders from the business, members of the QA team. The Scrum Master is not needed in the meeting, but is important in helping the rest of the team understand what makes a good product backlog items and how you prioritize them to maximize value delivered. Who facilitates a backlog refinement meeting? Quite often it will be the product owner. Though logical, it carries the disadvantage the product owner has a high stake in the direction and outcome of discussions. Getting the Scrum Master to facilitate is a step in the right direction, as he has no official role in the meeting and can be more objective. Best choice for a facilitator though is someone without a stake in the outcome and with excellent facilitation skills, someone that can hold space for everyone, ensure everyone feels heard, discussion don't run in circles actually. So friend, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with the friends and colleagues, and thanks for watching the video. Thank you friends.